this is something that, of course, everybody, I'm sure you've had this question 2,000 times, like, hey, Carol, why are you vegan? But I'm going to ask you anyway, what is living in the gift? And how is it to live in the gift? How does it work in this crazy society that isn't very much about living in the gift at all?
Oh my God, that's a
big
big question.
for a last
We could do a whole podcast on that. You know that.
Could I get a very short version?
We'll touch on it as well. We're touching it for the listeners, but we're going through this at the moment, a big change. And as you heard me say earlier, I'm kind of in this talk at the moment with a group of beings around how we can communicate this language more. So, and I would love to do, I would love to. I will do lots more talks on this because it's still an unfamiliar language. So, living in the gift is an ancient, natural state of living in community and sharing your resources and the things you have in order to support others. That's pretty much it. It was always like that. In tribes would come in. The shaman would do this, X, Y, and Z. The medicinal man would do this. The one that could cook would do that. And the mother would tend to the whatever. Everybody would just share their skills and talents, which we term as gifts, and to support the community. And so what, of course, happened over the years, we started to go into exchange models and creating stuff that we sold, and we wanted to receive gifts for it. And of course we now created the economics that we have and the exchange models that we have, and then of course money became, as we know, it started with like what did it start with, coin, not even coins, but like beans and all sorts of different things, right? And then we got coins, and it went into and then we started to get the whole bloody not even sovereignty, but I call it more the monarchy, and then the control of the gold, and so we know the story, right? So the gift for us, really, for me anyway, was when I opened myself to love, when love kicked me up the bum and said, hey dude, you ain't going that way, you're going to open this way. And that is a whole story in and of itself. Now when that happened, when love opened, I could not put a price tag on what I was sharing. I wanted to just spread love around the world, and I realized that love is free and it shouldn't have a price tag. Now, of course, I went through my own journey with that, and I got myself into some debt, and got myself into stress and anxiety, but I kept thinking about these models, like donation, pay what you can afford. And then the gift came to me by a guy, two couple of guys, but one of the guys was a guy that lived without money for 2 years. And he lived without money, and he wrote a book called The Moneyless Man, and all this thing about living without money came up, and how can we support each other, and we don't need to be so confined by the identification of money, right? And then I met Charles Eisenstein and Polly Higgins, and this kind of gift culture and the gift economy came to my realization. There's an economy, it's called gift economy. It actually already exists, right? It's out there in the world, people are living by this. We share our gifts, and it can look like money, but it's not always transactional, and it comes in different ways. And I give over here to Caro, and she gives to her friends, or her energy goes to there, and the circulation of all these gifts and resources continue to circulate, and everybody gets their needs met. And actually, in a gift culture, the weakest link always gets supported. So there's there's no hierarchical dominating ownership of I've got more, which means more for me means less for you, right? That mentality goes away, because more for me means more for you. So the more that we circulate, the more we have, and the more we have, the more we have to give. So in essence, when I met Dara some years later, about 2 years after I initially started this donation-based events and giving freely and trying to find my way, Dara and I came into creating Naked 6 months after being together, and I said we have to strip away money too, right? we can't do this for money in the way that we normally would with a price tag. And Dara was a bit like, I don't know, what's this gift thing? I like what you're into, but this gift thing sounds a bit freaky. Will we even make any money? And so Dara, bless her heart, came in with her savings of 4,000 euros.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, so we gift the whole event, and we just give everybody this opportunity. And basically, we did the first event in the essence of the gift, and we got scammed. So we got robbed 2,000 euros prior to it happening by these guys that go into your emails and
Oh
follow
shit.
your communication to when you're hiring a farmhouse. They hack into the farmhouse owners. They tell us that they're communicating to us. We book the farmhouse
Oh
and
my
they get the
God, that's
money,
insane.
and the owner doesn't get the money. And then we call up the owner. We're knocking on the door, going to view the house to get the keys for the event that we've got 15 people coming to, traveling around the world. That we've put on this gifted event, and we're knocking the door and nobody answers. And then I go back into the communications, and through this communication, communicate to the woman. And it's like, hey, we're at the house. She's like, my house is not for rent. It's going through works at the moment. You can't. I'm like, well, we've sent like £1,800 to you. And she's like, you haven't sent any money to me. So we got completely scammed,
Oh,
2 grand.
wow, that's
She
crazy.
couldn't even get back for us. Anyway, that's just a little juicy
Wow.
story. Dara, and then
Yeah.
we then put on the event, and we got back just with some money from Dara's mum as well. We just got back
Oh,
Dara's savings, right?
oh, bless her
Of
heart.
oh yeah, bless her heart. But we had this phenomenal 7-day experience to give us a taste of what gifting would be like.
Yeah.
I think you can take over from here, no?
Yeah, I'll just wrap it up really quick. So
Not so quick, couple of minutes.
Yeah.
just saying the gift economy is not really an economy, or even though it is an economy, but actually I always say it's a spiritual practice in disguise, yeah? Because when we are starting to work with the gift and the gift model of meaning, I don't put a price tag on my offerings. I trust that life will support me and that people will value what they have received, and that will be depending on their resonance and their frequency and where they are at financially and so on. What happens is that now my frequency of how I treat money is going to be mirrored back to me by the people that are coming into the field, like the people that come to our events. So in the beginning, yes, there were not so many people who necessarily gave us big chunks of money,
Right.
because we also had lack and scarcity wired into our system, because
Right.
that's one of the
Yeah.
big things that is in all of us. We're living in a culture of lack and scarcity,
Yeah.
and it's deeply programmed inside of us. So once we start to work with a gift, it sort of highlights all of that. It brings all the lack and scarcity to the surface. And when you're not ready to actually face your own programming around money in that sense, the economy is a spiritual practice for me, because it highlights where I'm holding back, it highlights where I'm not trusting the
Yeah.
universe, it
Very good
highlights
point.
where
Yes.
I haven't fully surrendered to the abundance of life that is all around us, and that's deeply inside of me. So it's a process of rewiring the whole time, and it's a constant, like I like to call it, it's like stretching the trust muscle constantly.
Yeah,
How can
so
I
nice.
how can I
Stretching the
trust
trust muscle.
how can I
Aw.
trust a little more? How can I
Yeah.
surrender a little deeper? And when you're ready to do that, it's a phenomenal practice, and it's a
Yeah.
phenomenal way of engaging, because it also creates community with us. Now we have a little bit different models, so we put a little bit of a sort of main commitment that people pay, and then at the end they can ask for some of that back, or they can put some on top. So there's a bit of, like, we're still working with the system of money in a sense, because for so many people it goes way over their head and they don't even understand any of it.
It's an education.
So it's an
Yeah.
education process,
Yeah.
and we're bridging the worlds, and we're trying our best to function in the way where we are also, having our needs met, and at the same time can offer this to people who might not have so many resources at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful journey
Yeah.
that can be challenging, and at the same time, like, whoa, then gifts come in from people from this, like, years ago, just yesterday we had a week ago we had somebody sent us a gift who come on a retreat 3 years ago, and she's like, I want to send you some
Yeah.
money. So that's so sweet. There's this connection
Gorgeous.
keeps growing. It's not like, oh, we just gave you a retreat, you gave us money, now we're over.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, because it's
continuing.
ever ongoing as well. Like
Yes.
it's this dialogue doesn't stop. And that trust muscle I definitely felt from both of you, because I definitely felt when I said it to friends, like, these guys don't even know me and they just trust me to, not only with the cooking, but also, like, I bought all this stuff and you didn't even, oh yeah, I trust you, I didn't even want to look at receipts, which never happened to me before. I was like, wow. So I definitely felt, and it made me feel so good, like it was so nice to be, and I felt the same. I was like, yeah, like there was a connection, and that for me, the energy exchange we had
So
was
you
enough for
understood
me,
it as well. That's the thing. The thing with you, though, is you understood it. Whether or not you can live in the gift right now is irrelevant. When I first spoke to you and told you, you understood it, and there was an understanding. And I think this is the key: is that we're we are kind of breaking again these taboos of money. We're not saying that, just for everybody listening, we're not saying everybody can live like this or it's possible at the moment. It's a transition, and it takes, we've been living like this for 7 years, and some days we don't know where money's coming from. We don't have a fixed. There's a couple of things that are fixed, like we have a Patreon page, and we have some money coming in now from the Be Loved tribe. There's a little bit of fixed money, but in terms of you saying to me, Sai, do you have this next month? I can't tell you what money's coming in next month. It's just not known. But we know.
Constant state of surprise.
Yeah, constant state of surprise.
So brave. Yeah, I think it's very brave too.
Yeah, and then one thing I want to say. In this time, exactly. But we are transitioning. We're transitioning to cryptocurrencies. We're transitioning to cashless societies. I mean, right now, the fiat-based currency that we know it is crumbling like never before. Fiat currency is crumbling. The old exchange models are totally crumbling. So, you kind of blockchain now and NFTs and all these different terminologies that are coming through for us to be able to exchange our gifts is phenomenal. And I guess I want to say one last thing that Charles Eisenstein taught me. And he said this. And this is good for your listeners. If you're contemplating going into the gift in this model that we're talking about, then if 0 is not abundant for you, then don't do the gift. Because, and I tell you in the beginning, I didn't know this. And it was some days when you do a whole day event and you put so much time and energy into it and people don't give much money, it really hits you in the chest, and you leave there thinking, man, this is covering some food and some petrol, I'm like, and I don't have any profit. It's like, but at that point, I didn't know that this is the last thing as well, Caro, check this out. I didn't know next that 2 people were going to give me a whole warehouse as a gift so that I could do my events in. Right? I didn't realize at that point that somebody's going to come along and start editing my videos for me as a gift. I didn't understand at that point that the gift was going to show up in ways that don't look like paper money. Exactly. This is priceless.
Yeah. That's the divine design that you talk about, and the universe. Well, we definitely have to have you guys back because I'd love to speak way more about so many things. But I'm so grateful for your time. Thank you so much. I really have so much love for you both. It's such I really miss being in your presence. So unfortunate we aren't really able to travel. But as soon as I can, I definitely want to. Visit you guys in Malta, and the door here in Amsterdam is always open for you. Sparky will be waiting.
We are definitely going to meet again, and
absolutely.
I'm enjoying that this co-creation has continued now with this podcast.
Yeah,
I said we're going to grab you on my podcast.
I'd love that.
And the point is that ultimately we're not here telling everybody how it is, that we know what is this and that. It's like we are here really in this beautiful, curious exploration. I often say that we are not experts, we are explorers. I speak for myself. I think Dara agrees.
Same here.
And I know you're the same. And for everyone listening, if you can take something today, a little nugget, a little gem for yourself, then Caro and our work is done.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, thank you so very much, and thank you everybody for listening. You know the drill. Be good to yourself, be good to others, especially the animals. And I hope to see you all again soon. And so much love. Love. Be love. Be love. Bye.